Good morning. It's about 8:30 in the morning. It's cloudy, so it's not really a great day for doing this. But the tracker came in yesterday evening, so I was going to try to put the tracker on there today and see if it actually works and see what it looks like. I'm not real sure on the setup or anything. Never used one. Uh, haven't even read the instructions all the way through, to be honest with you. So we're just gonna get all the bits mounted, and then we'll see how, if we gotta program it or what's got to be done from that point on. I went ahead just to save some time on the boring and screwed down a bracket right there for this is the east-west sensor. There's a little circuit board in there. It's got an east on one side so that you can tell which way to point it. And I just matched the angle of the panels. So if the angle is the same as the panels. And then I ordered the kit with the little anemometer. My plan is, supposedly somehow you can program this. I think you have to use limit switches. But if it picks up more than, I think it's a 7-mile-an-hour wind, or no, you can program the wind speed, and if it is sustained for more than 20 seconds, it'll rotate the panels to a predetermined position. And we had them rotated completely horizontal for the week or two that it was setting up here before we had everything hooked up, and that actually seemed to work because we had a little day that was a little wind, probably 20-25 mile an hour wind sustained. It was enough that it blew some of those panels that are leaned up against the cable over there. It blew those over, but they're not just leaned up on there. They have a 2-hole EMT strap that holds them to the cable, and the wind was strong enough that it ripped the screws out of those and blew a couple of them loose. So we had some legitimate wind. And with the panels horizontal, I didn't notice any issues. I was out here and I was looking at them, trying to see what was going to happen, if they were going to get any lift or whatever. So anyway, that's the plan. If I can figure out how to make that work so that it'll just take them to perfectly flat, so the wind won't be as big an issue. Of course, we're not talking about tornadoes and hurricaneados and all that. That's a different thing. And eventually, I wanted to use a rotary type system because I wanted to be able to take the panel straight up and down in case of hail. With the actuators, I can't do that unless I put in a secondary cam mechanism on the actuators, which we could do, but that's a lot of extra moving parts and a lot of extra things to fail. So for now, we're just gonna settle for what it is. Hail hasn't ever really been a problem. Typically here where we are, pea-size hail is all you ever get. And if I remember right, these are IP65 rated for 1-inch hail. So if we rotate them as close to up and down as we can, then the hail would hit it at a glancing angle anyway. And I think that'll be okay. If not, we'll come back later and address a completely rotary system that doesn't use actuators. But that's what this is for. It's supposed to pick up the wind, move them to a predetermined position. And this is the little sensor. That's just what came in the kit. I had an old disconnect switch box. So for now, we'll come back and make everything pretty and nice later. But I just want to see if it works first before we go all in. This is the controller that comes in the kit. It's got your output for your motor, It's got twin terminals for each one. That's pretty good. I think it said it can carry 20 amps per terminal, so theoretically you could output 40 amps if you had to. Same thing for your power in, and it does do 12 or 24 volt. Ours is just 12. The other side, there's where the anemometer hooks up, the light sensor, and then there's limit switches you can tie in for east and west, and they just have to be normally open switches that close when it makes it all the way. So you could use a Hall effect switch if you wanted to, or just a Allen Bradley lever switch, or whatever you wanted to. But I'm not sure about all the programming. We'll get into that after we get it mounted up. It did come with remote, so it's very nice. It's infrared, however, so I'm not sure that that's going to reach from the house, but it'd be good for testing. And I like that it has a quit button, so I guess that's just if you're ready to quit, you've messed up as much as you possibly can, just quit. But we'll give this a go in a minute too. All right, this is my feed wire going to the actuators. You can see it's just tied in there. It's 4 wires, and I went ahead and I just doubled them up just so they carry more power, since we have 4 of them. This is just temporary. There's going to have to be like a real legit SO or SJ cable run down through there and tied in, but again, just so we can see if it works today. Alright, so I'm going to start, put in a couple of connectors. Hopefully they fit. They fit-ish. The sun's starting to come out. And 3/4 for the other side. So they give you plenty of wire. If anybody else has used one of these or knows anything about them, you know, if you want to leave something in the comments. Tried to talk to the people, but you know, they really don't understand what you're asking. Because I asked about it, apparently it said you had to have something extra, I think, to make the parking system work on it, but they couldn't seem to tell me what it was, so I got tired of waiting, so I just went ahead and ordered it. Battery cable. I'm using red and green for positive. Alright, black and white for negative, red and green for positive. Now, for the motor, of course, you don't really know which direction it's going to rotate because it's A1 and A2, so, you know, could go either way. I'm just going to go ahead and use the forks that are on here. They're a little wide, so I'm going to snip off one side. So we'll just set them up in the same configuration as the other ones. Black and white for A1. Red and green for A2. The way my luck is, we'll have to swap these in a little bit because I'm sure if I have a 50% chance of getting the wires backwards, we got them backwards. We just had a tree fall. Alright. Alright. I'm just gonna let that little guy dangle for a minute. So we'll put him all in there once we know everything works. Well, the picture says red on S, yellow on G. Doesn't really tell you, but we'll go with that. Red on S. Yellow on G. You know we're gonna break the first one, right? We always break the first one. Alright, the magical part. This one's actually labeled. Look. Like that. Red is east. Loosen them up first. East, yellow is west, and green is view. See the little infrared sensor? It's right there. So that ain't gonna help much if it's inside a box with the remote. Alright, now time to hook up the battery. Yeah, the wire's a little long. That's alright. Alright. beeps. Not sure about that. Let me know if anything starts smoking. It was hunting already. Says it's moving east. Make sure we got some slack on that. How about those apples? Oh, got a little wind. Wonder how much current we actually draw. About 10 amps. Think it's gonna find it?
They're moving.
Yeah, it's hunting. So they say, you think it's gonna find it? It stopped. Guess it found it. That's even, the sun's right. It's even pointed at it. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't think it would find it with it cloudy. I thought maybe that'd be. It sure did. You can see it displays what the sensors are seeing for east and west. You know, 2.14, 2.15. Wonder what the TX is as it counts down from 1 minute and then starts over. I wonder if that's the timing interval between it checking the sensors for east and west. Maybe it checks them every minute and see if they're still the same or if it needs to move. I don't know. Seems to work though. Didn't have to program anything. Just hooked it up to power and it worked. That's truly plug and play right there. That's what I like. She hunts around, scared to leave it. Trust issues. Although yesterday we did try moving this manually to follow the sun. Well, I say we moved it maybe 3 times during the day. But I did test the power output, because somebody asked in the comments. The power output with it versus the panels that are standing up there and those, it was putting out approximately 300% more power. I was getting 89 to 90 amps on all three of them, on all 3 inverters to the batteries, whereas the other 3 were putting out between 24 and 32 amps to the batteries at the exact same time, and you could watch the power curve come up as they were rotating around. So it does make a difference. I didn't really think it would make that much of a difference. That's why I have like so many that are stationary mounted. I didn't really think it would make that much of a difference, but as it came into the afternoon where they were more evenly equipped, that, you know, the gap did reduce. But during the entire day, with the exception of about half an hour when they were at the same angle, it was putting out considerably more power. So I guess it's probably worth it. If you're trying to squeeze every ounce of power out, the truth is the mounting system, I don't have any more invested in it than I had in the stationary mounts. And it holds more panels. The stationary mounts hold 22 panels, 2 strings of 11, and they cost about $4,000 and change. Now the people that I bought the steel and stuff from, they did install the panels for that price too, you know, but it's just a local metal building place, you know, it builds carports and garages out of the, you know, and there was 4 or 5 of them, and they were cool about it. Fixed them some lunch, and they were like, yeah, grab the panels, we'll throw them up there real quick. And they did. But still, that's $4,000, held 22 panels. This is about $4,500, holds 33 panels, and rotates. I'd say that's well worth the money. Just wonder what happens if your little photo sensor gets dirty, or a bug lands on it. I wonder if it just hunts around. Well, I guess that's it. I'm gonna run to the hardware store and get some wire to wire this in permanently. And I'll let you know if anything weird happens. And if anybody else got some ideas on what kind of solar tracker system they use, I'd love to hear about it. This one was on eBay. I use eBay a lot. And I think it was $45 or $50. And it does seem to work. For how long? Well, we'll see. It was only drawing about 10 amps on the rotation. So spread out over 2 sets of terminals that are rated for 20. I don't know. She's not in a hard way. And of course, we could always just take that output to a bigger contactor or something and just have the controller switch to contactor. It does use a mechanical relay and not an SSR because you can hear it click when it goes to move. But other than that, that's all we got today.